Welcome to Nerd Tale. My name is Veronica, and I wish you a happy holiday, a Merry Christmas, and a blessed Yuletide. Whatever your choice is, I wish that you have a happy one. And as I said, welcome! We are doing a year in review, totally unscripted. Because why not end the year on chaos? And start it, I guess. But yes, we are going to look a little bit back on 2024, what went well, what happened and what didn't go well and all of that stuff. And maybe, as if I don't know, we're also going to address stuff that we're aiming for in 2025. So 2024 started in a different apartment with a whole different set of goals. One of my goals for 2024 was to write 4 books. Didn't really happen. I didn't write 1 book, but I did start Hellbound, and I have been enjoying it immensely. During the year, or during the past few years, I've struggled a lot with writing and actually completing stories and all of that kind of stuff. So I sat down, what is it that I find easy to do? What do I like, etc., etc. And then I stumbled over the concept of a serial. Ooh, my Santa hat is shedding. So for people who don't know what a serial is, it is essentially a long ass story that is published chapter by chapter. So if you've had a fan fiction era, imagine that every chapter is released and published individually as they are written, and then at the end, sometimes, probably, kinda, you have a completed story. I say having a lot of unfinished fan fiction stories on a very old account that I will not be sharing. Sorry to everyone who followed that. But that is basically what a serial is. You publish chapter by chapter. I think in the US you have Vella, Amazon Vella, Vellum, something like that. That I guess American viewers are a little bit more familiar with. Here in Sweden, I basically hadn't really come in contact with it before. So I started diving into that, where also you can see the video on Ream's stories that I made about the transparency issue and why I won't be using them, even though I was super hyped because it seemed to be like, this is my thing. But yeah, check the video wherever it is if you want. I know that they've made some updates since I made that video, but I haven't dived. I have not gone back to check if they have updated all the critiques that I had. Words. But yeah, Hellbound is a serial that takes place in an alternate universe. I like to call them mirror worlds, that they are very similar to our world, but I don't like writing in our world because it's quite limiting and all of that stuff, plus all the stuff I make mistakes. I'm like, no, that's where that shit's located in this world, or like that makes total sense in this world. Just go with it. So it's an alternative universe where we follow several different characters. It's gonna be a long, really long, slow burn ass story. I already have the overarching story done, but we're talking many, many chapters before it even starts hinting at that, which is so much fun.
All right, let's just pause here for a second. I spent a long time here trying to explain all of these terms, so this is just easier. These are the terms I use in Hellbound.
The characters that we have just said goodbye to, Anya and Callum, they will come back later on in a different saga. It's still their story, but their section of the story right now is finished, so a saga is completed. We'll see them later on because I liked how I ended. Where we dropped them off was a very fun ending of a chapter to write. But yes, I have 19 chapters out, and next year I aim to have published another 40. So in between every saga, I plan to have a little bit of a break because I need to plan out some details for the next saga. Having a lot of fun with it. I just sat down for like 3 days and did character work. I am a world building girly, okay? It's my shit. It's what gets me going. character work is my best friend's shit, okay? I don't think I'm particularly good at it. It's something I always struggled. I've never really found that to be particularly interesting. And watch me now. Hellbound is bringing it out of me. And yes, I pestered my best friend to like save me. What the hell am I fucking doing? And she did. She delivered, as usual. So, thank you, E. I love you. So, Sword of Dalkor it was my first book, my little baby. It's a high fantasy, no romance, no spice, no nothing. It is perfect for people who might not be very familiar with the fantasy genre. That's what we call it now. Or those who want to kind of go back to basics. It's a very basic high fantasy story that is building and introducing more fantasy concepts as we go along. Now, it's been quite some time since I published that, and the sequel is not out. I've struggled a lot with it because, pressure, all of that stuff, putting a lot of expectations on myself to make sure that the second book, because this is a trilogy, so in the second book, it's in the slog, blah, blah, blah. I have also developed significantly as an author over the past, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 21, 7 years. I can count. So yeah, I published that, and even within the first 2 years, while I was working on the sequel, I was taking such leaps in my writing skill set that I reread Sword of Dalkor, and don't get me wrong, I still think it's a good book. It is just not the level I'm at anymore. However, someone asked, are you going to take it down and then remake it? No, I'm not. I will let it stand for itself. Still, as I said, my little baby. And I think that there's something to be said for people seeing that this is where I started and that this is where I am now. This is something I've been saying for a long time, and it is Sword of Dalkor will always be my worst book. Every book I write will always be worse than my new one. So Sword of Dalkor, being my first book that I ever published, will forever and always be my worst one. And there's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't make it a terrible book. It's just my skills have improved. I have become a better character creator, writer, whatever, world builder and storyteller in general, and that is amazing. I love seeing that. When I reread it, I was just like, oh, I would have done this differently. Oh, that was a little bit awkward, and that one doesn't really fit. Whatever it is, right? But I'm not going to be ashamed of what I created. So, Sword of Dalkor is that. Now, back to the year review thing. Over the year, I have been writing a little bit here and there on the sequel. I restarted the beginning 4 times because it just didn't sit right. But I have about 20,000 words written over the year on the sequel. So I am super happy with that. I'm not going to make it a priority for 2025, but I want to have that as a sub goal, I suppose, where you talk, where when I have the energy or time or inspiration, I will write some stuff on it, but it won't be a priority. Now, the other worlds that I have created are going to be a few years down the line when I have more of a balanced work-life balance, I suppose, because I do have a full-time job on top of doing the writing and doing YouTube and a bunch of stuff, So I need to take this step by step and be able to do this in a healthy and productive way so that I last the whole marathon and not just a sprint. When Home Finds Us is my second book, and it is perfect for Christmas, Yule, specifically Yule, because we do have a section in the book where they celebrate Yule because the main character is a witch and Yule is their main time. And it's super cute. I love it. It's so nice. It's very calm. There's very low stakes. It's not this action-packed and the world is gonna end or anything. What I wanted to write was 2 characters that were very into each other or are very into each other, but they didn't they choose to spend time together as opposed to being forced proximity. And I very much wanted to showcase that you can write very nice romance that isn't the man being extremely aggressive, okay, and possessive and jealous, because that is not good signs of a healthy relationship or healthy individual in general. And so when Home Finds Us was kind of a response to all of the romance books that I had read, where it just kind of was like, oh, do you all think that the dude being controlling and jealous and kind of very aggressive towards you, it's romantic? And then I kind of started writing it, and it just became its own thing where, yes, at first it stems from this like, okay, maybe I should showcase what a healthy relationship can be like. And then it's just like, you know what, I'm writing it because I really wanted and I really needed and I love it. So if you're into paranormal romance, but you want something sweet and cozy that you can get through in a few hours, this is it. It's a palate cleanser. That's how I would like to label it. It's a standalone. I was asked if I'm gonna make sequels to it, and no, I'm not, because it is a standalone. I bought a Stanley, by the way. I became one of those. But look, it's like a really nice, pretty purple. And also, never been as hydrated in my life as I've been these past few weeks, okay? And 100% I bought it because of that TikTok with the woman whose car burned down, but there was still ice in it. 100% the reason. Whatever. I bought it. I love it. Where was I? Social media. Social media. Yes. I have for the past few years struggled so much with social media. I have a lot of experience with social media. I worked with social media, done marketing, paid marketing, organic marketing, regular like social media management. I've done all of it for years. So it's not that I lack the knowledge of what I need to do. It's more I've lacked the energy to create it. As I said, I now have my full-time job, I have YouTube, I have my writing, and a few years ago, I was also running my own company within said industry, that's the word. And so, working with it every day and then trying to apply that to your own life when you're just like, hey, I just want to rest. I don't want to think about social media right now. That can take its toll. So, I have now streamlined a little bit. We have YouTube as my primary social media, and then Instagram is a secondary in the sense that I just post there when I feel like it. But we also have TikTok, of course, and I haven't been very good at TikTok. But what I now have come to, the conclusion, the realization, the acceptance, whatever you want to choose, is that I'm making videos for YouTube, and this is my primary, other than the writing, of course. But in social media, this is my primary, and I am making videos already. And for the eagle eye has already seen that I made shorts here for YouTube. Of course, I have the content, so why not repost it on Instagram, on TikTok? So that's what I'm doing now. I'm not spending too much time creating this thoughtful content, the image that is super curated. Okay, my images are curated because I do photography on this side just for fun. But it's not like I'm spending a lot of time creating these thoughtful texts and everything, because I have spent years doing that and I got nowhere. So now I'm just using Instagram as a place to just, hey, here's some stuff, here's comments, whatever. And then TikTok is going to be essentially the same thing, just reels, whatever. And then reels on TikTok, okay, copy paste. And then making the long form videos here instead. So I'm taking a lot of the, make cool graphics and blah, 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 the expectations and the pressure of it away. And that instantly always makes it easier for me to sit down and do graphics, as long as I don't force myself to have those expectations. In 2025, you're going to be seeing more repost or whatever you call it of shorts onto Instagram and TikTok. It will be also interesting to see how TikTok changes if and when the ban in the US goes through. Could be interesting, actually. But that's the goal. I'll just keep doing this and then taking clips from this. And if I ever feel like, oh, I want to create original shorts or whatever that isn't just cuts from these type of videos, then I'll do that. But next year, I'm not going to force anything other than that. I'm not forcing anything. But my goal for social media, though, is I want 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube. That's what we're getting. Right? We're going for it. We're almost at 300. It's so cool. But yes, I want that. TikTok, I'm probably going to aim at something more like 10,000 followers, because about 10,000 is equivalent to 1,000 on YouTube, give or take, I guess. That's what I've been told anyway. So, but this is my primary. I'm looking for 1,000 subscribers. Now, I also do have a Patreon. Look how pretty it is. Isn't it nice? It's so cute. I really like that photo too. On Patreon, I'm aiming for 10 patrons by the end of next year. You can get access to all of my whole library, the short stories, the 2 full books, and all of that stuff. You also get to read Hellbound's chapters 1 week advance if you go for the $5 version. I'm just saying. Plug, you know? But yes, I do have a Patreon as well that the goal is to build, you know? So do check it out if you want to support me. I don't have any reading goal like numbers and everything, because for me that was just kind of detrimental. I started feeling a lot of pressure and anxiety, and I felt less than a good reader because I didn't hit my goal, yada, yada, yada. So I removed that because I don't need my reading to be a source of anxiety and pressure. I'm not creating reading type of here's reading book reviews. That's not my main content. I might pop it in if I want to, but overall, no. So I just removed all of those numbers and I just say, read what you want. But right now I'm actually working my way through the first Dune book, because I really thought the films were so bad. I was like, the books cannot be this bad. So yeah, that's a whole different conversation. But I am working my way through it right now. Either way, I hope that you've had a great year, and thank you very much for being here, and I hope to see you in the future as well. So with that said, thank you very much. Hope that you subscribe, and I will see you in the next one or in the next year. I don't know if I have another video. Either way, have a great end of your year, and as we say in Sweden, gott slut och gott nytt, which translates to have a good end and a good beginning. Bye!
And don't forget to head on over to Patreon and check out the tiers I have available. You can get access to my entire library with the second tier.